Imagine traveling outward from Earth at impossible speeds, passing galaxies and nebulae until your journey stops against an absolute physical edge. Does your path end at a solid wall, or does the emptiness simply stretch on forever? The 11th century Persian philosopher Nasr Khosrow addressed this in his work The Quan al-Ikhwan. He didn't rely on poetic speculation. He mapped the cosmos using the rigid rules of geometry. He begins with a basic principle. Every physical body is defined by 3 dimensions: length, width, and depth. Because every dimension mathematically requires a beginning, a middle, and an end, any object possessing these dimensions must be finite. Khosrow applies this logic to the scale of the cosmos. If every individual part of the universe has a limit, the sum of those parts must also have a final outer boundary. He identifies this boundary as the falak-e-kul, the outermost celestial sphere. This is the ultimate physical envelope of nature. Khosrow's conclusion is absolute. Beyond this sphere, there is no space, no time, and no matter. Physical existence simply ceases to be. This establishes a clear tension. The physical universe is a mathematically finite object, yet human consciousness is able to conceptualize what lies beyond it. By defining the exact limits of the physical world, Khosrow suggests that the mind cannot be a product of that world. If the intellect can map the boundaries of the universe effectively exists within the mind's grasp. This raises a question of mechanics. How can the human mind reach past the edge of the universe if physical travel is impossible? Khosrow points to the nafs-e-juzi, or the individual soul. When the soul moves past physical distractions, it uses pure intellect to explore what lies outside the 3D cosmos. The specific tools for this journey are the mathematical sciences, which operate independently of physical matter. Geometry allows the mind to see that physical boundaries are merely conceptual points. This understanding allows the soul to pierce the final sphere and enter what Khosrow calls the subtle realm. Beyond the void, the intellect encounters the nafs-e-kul, the universal soul. Khosrow notes that this universal soul encompasses the universe intellectually and scientifically, not through physical size. It contains the cosmos in the same way a single complex thought can hold a physical object within your own awareness. By mastering geometry, the individual soul realizes that the entire physical universe is a finite subset contained within this infinite, non-spatial envelope. This architectural model of a finite cosmos contained by a soul was later reflected in the mystical poetry of Jalal al-Din Rumi. Rumi utilizes the same cosmic structure, but he describes the relationship through the lens of human yearning. To Rumi, the physical universe is merely the shadow or the crust, the outer form of a deeper reality. He defines the universal soul as the internal meaning that gives the external form its purpose. He suggests that the human soul feels an inherent pull to return to this source, like a gravity that defies physics. Rumi compares the individual to a gnat flying toward a rose. It is the natural movement of a fragment seeking the whole. In this view, the search for truth is the mathematical precision of the cosmos, calling the soul back to its origin. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video and want to explore more history and philosophy, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps us keep these deep dives going. Now, let's see how these ideas crossed into the West. Khosrow's model shares a striking structural logic with Neoplatonism, specifically Plotinus's concept of a world soul that animates the material world from the outside. It also connects to Plato's allegory of the cave, where the intellect must look past physical shadows to access the true reality of the forms. Moving to the 18th century, we find a modern parallel in Immanuel Kant's transcendental idealism. Kant argued that space and time are not independent physical realities, but the software of the human mind, the framework we use to process experience. For Kant, the true reality, the noumenal realm, exists entirely outside of these spatial and temporal grids, making it physically inaccessible. Khosrow anticipated this by centuries, realizing that when you strip away the dimensions of length, width, and depth, you leave the realm of physics and enter the realm of pure reality. If we turn to classical Taoism, specifically the works of Laozi and Zhuangzi, we find another way of defining this cosmic boundary. While Khosrow finds a solid intellectual affirmation beyond the physical edge, Taoism approaches the limit differently. Taoism introduces the concept of Wu, or non-being. It suggests that the ultimate reality beyond form is an empty, nameless void. This Tao is explicitly formless. As the texts say, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Despite these differences in description, the underlying structure is similar. Both views see the universe as an interconnected, organic whole. There is a mirroring of the macrocosm, heaven and earth, within the microcosm of the human being. Just as Khosrow's mind reaches out to meet the universal soul, the Taoist sage aligns their internal energy with the flow of the cosmos, uniting the part with the whole. In the final part of his text, Khosrow asks a critical question about the mechanics of this cosmic system. He notes that the celestial spheres do not have eyes, ears, or any of the biological needs required for a living being to survive. If they have no senses and no needs, why do the stars and planets move with such rigid mathematical precision? Khosrow's answer is that the cosmos functions as a classroom. It was designed for the purpose of human education. The universal soul embedded these mathematical laws into nature so that the human intellect could discover and decode them. By identifying the laws of the universe, the human mind ultimately recognizes the source of its own intelligence. The geometry of Khosrow, the yearning of Rumi, the intellect of Plato, and the void of the Tao all converge on one point. The physical universe is confined by the laws of geometry, but our ability to map those very limits proves that human consciousness operates on a vastly different, infinite scale.